Ibrahim, Professor Ozdemir, please unmute. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Tom. I am really, I just delved into your book and you just start with the revival of Stoicism. And, when I started my graduate studies at Middle East Technical University in Turkey, and it was a department dominated with analytical and positivist philosophy.
Yeah.
One day we have a guest philosopher, of course, from analytical tradition. And one of our colleagues says, Professor, I am just confused. Can you tell me what philosophy can tell me about in my practical life? He said, philosophy doesn't say anything to you. Just go to the Department of Theology to learn about, daily practice, what you can do. And then he was very disappointed. And then I just look outside of analytical tradition. I discovered Arnanes, the founder of deep ecology. Then I did my Ph.D. I insisted to write my dissertation in environmental ethics. Although my analytical philosopher, they were not happy. But then I know I can see there was also revival in ecofeminism and environmental ethics and Joanne Macy, just revival of eco-Buddhism in America. I think on the one hand, you and also other colleagues who was just Lou and others with this new interpretation of philosophy in practical life, and on the other hand, ecofeminist and also environmentalist philosophers, they tell us philosophy still matters, philosophy still can give us something in our daily life and overcome our problems. Would you like to say about that?
I think that's a very insightful thing to say. Lou and I were unusual in our time because philosophy had started to mimic the sciences, the formalism, the technical language, the technical apparatus, and cut itself off from most of the culture, right? So it's no surprise that people are saying, maybe we should close our philosophy department, because they don't understand that philosophy has evolved since the 80s and 90s into something very rich. For about 100 years, most philosophy in most philosophy departments was theoretical only. It was about, I like to say that philosophy is about ideas and implementation. Ideas and implementation. But in theoretical philosophy, both the implementation and the ideas are fully conceptual. The implementation is to take that idea and put it in an argument. In practical philosophy, the ideas and the implementation can be very different. The ideas are conceptual, but the implementation can be very practical, can be very existential, can be very psychological. Philosophy presented itself for a while as if it was all about discovery and information, just very esoteric information. The analytic tradition was where I was trained as well. I was reading the Odyssey 3 years ago. Homer's Odyssey I reread 4 times in 1 year in 3 different translations. And the 4th reading, I finally think I understood it. I reread the Iliad that year twice. And I think I understood it for the first time, but I still need to do it a couple more times. I never understood until my 4th reading in that year of the Odyssey why the first 100 pages are not about really Odysseus. They're more about Telemachus, his son. And Athena, the goddess who loves Odysseus and knows where he is every minute of every day because he's her favorite, she disguises herself as an old man and visits the island of Ithaca, where Telemachus, 20 years old, doesn't even remember his father. His father's been away for almost 20 years. Is he alive or dead? He will ask every stranger who comes to the island, is my father alive or dead? He goes up to this old man, and Athena in disguise, and says, stranger, do you know if my father's alive or dead, Odysseus? And Athena, who knows exactly where he is, says, well, I think he's alive, but I could be wrong. You really need to go see Nestor, but to do that, you need to get a ship and a crew of men. And if he doesn't know the answer, he probably knows. But if he doesn't know, then you got to go see Menelaus. That's an even worse voyage. You're going to go on a very dangerous voyage. Oh, okay, he says. And if you come back and if you find out the answer is yes, he's alive, then wait a year. And then you're going to have to deal with these suitors who are trying to marry your mother. And if he's not alive, so she's acting as if she doesn't know for sure whether he's alive, and she does know. Why is she playing this game with Telemachus? Telemachus thinks he needs information. She knows he needs transformation. He needs to go through an arduous adventure to transform him so that he can become a worthy partner for his father when he returns home. Philosophy is meant to transform us. And the theoretical has taken over to such an extent, oh, we think we're being informed. Well, we're supposed to be transformed. And so I think both Lou and I and more philosophers since the 80s have come to use theoretical in support of the practical, not as an antagonistic endeavor. So I see guys who just did philosophy of mathematics in graduate school doing practical philosophy now, and it's a wonderful thing that I applaud. And of course, in Turkey, that's a homeland of so much of what people think is Greek philosophy. It was actually in Turkey. And I had, if Aristotle Ran General Motors became an important book in the country of Turkey, I was actually asked to do a video for a company there. The leadership had asked a young man, and I can't remember his name, but he said to me, could you do a video for our executive team? And then I'm supposed to report on your book. But I said, yes, I'll do that. And he said, well, I have one more favor. Could you start off with my name and the sentence, my good friend, so-and-so, whatever his name was, has invited me. I said, yeah, I'll do that. So the video said, my good friend. And he said, thank you so much. Now they all think I'm an important person. So I love you guys in Turkey. I think you do really good philosophy, and it's a pleasure to be asked that question.
And
Yes,
if I
thank
may,
you very much for this
Ibrahim.
very good answer. In Turkey, you and also Lou is very famous. Your books also serve very well.
Well,
Yeah,
we
thank
have
you very much.
between us quite a few books in Turkish, Tom. But Professor Ozdemir, our friend Ibrahim, is a wonderful practical philosopher in his own right, and is building the same thing out, that we've been doing here. He's building it in Turkey. He's a pioneer there. He's translated a lot of work into Turkish, so he's part of the team. So thank you very much, Ibrahim. It's great to see you.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you.
thank you for the question.